chant calls them. Before the sun shows its face on the Pacific Coast, the Calgoritham woke up these sturdy Golden Bears. Wondered if they would show up. Man, did they ever show up.
We are in the middle of midterms right now. And all of these sons of bitches said, give me college game day.
The fans came out early and they showed up in Berkeley when Cal hosted College Game Day last season. Miami Hurricanes coming to town, and it looked like Cal was going to win that thing, and then the Canes crazy comeback. Look, there were 5 of their 6 losses last season, Cal, by just 1 score. It was brutal, but we turn the page to 25, and you look, they start things off. It's not technically a non-conference Power 4 game, but I would consider it at Oregon State. And then maybe they can make a little bit of a run here, EJ.
Yeah, well, here's what I do like early on in the season. They stay out west. They got at Oregon State, at home against Texas Southern, Minnesota, then at San Diego State. So not too bad of travel. They can win some of those games. That'd be a great start before they get an ACC play. Then a long trip to Boston College. We'll see how they can manage there. But similar to a lot of the teams we talked about throughout this show, quarterback position, who's it going to be and who can stay healthy? You know, we look at Cal last year, they lost a lot of games within 7, 8 points, that kind of range, 1-score games. Can you get a guy that can get you over the hump? Fernando Mendoza, I liked him a lot. I think he's also transfer ported out. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think now whoever your next quarterback is, you got to have somebody that can get you over the hump. Yeah. Fernando can do it. Let's see who can.
And they brought in a 5-star freshman who was committed or signed, whatever it was, to Oregon. And they flipped him already. I think he was an early enrollee, already got in the portal.
And an Ohio State transfer quarterback as well.
Sure, so they've got some options. And that young guy, just, are you ready to play? Was he promised that he's going to be the guy immediately? It's tough, right? Anytime we see a true freshman going out there leading a regime. But love Coach Wilcox, you make an addition with Harsin coming over to do some things there and some inspiration by him. It's going to be fun to see.
They leaned on defense so much last year, and it was an experienced defense. So a lot of those guys are gone. So that defense is going to have to play well. Wilcox will do a heck of a job. He always does. But I'm looking at the schedule, and the middle chunk, that's where they could really separate themselves because there's no team in the middle chunk that they can't beat. And I feel like Cal.
Where you start, Boston College, or where are you?
I'm looking at, you go from Boston College all the way down.
Yep.
I mean, Louisville's a tough team, but you could beat it. That's a game that's going to be a close win. And then all the way down to SMU, and we know how good SMU and explosive, but Cal should be in all of those games. And it's going to be about winning the close games, not turning the ball over, doing the little things necessary to win games, but Cal's got a chance to be a sleeper team in the ACC.
Is Jay not back?
Yes.
I believe so.
Javian Thomas back as well, as of today.
Yeah, I mean, that's the deal. I mean, that cat can run like nobody's business. But the other guy at the backup, was it Thomas?
Yes.
He's pretty dang good, too. So that tells me their offensive line was pretty good running that rock.
Come on.
That's a good place to start. So when you're breaking in a new quarterback, if you do have that run game, it's going to help that cat a lot.
Who would have thought our first offensive line reference was about Cal? That's awesome. Thank you.
Good point, though. You're right.
Yeah. Look, Justin Wilcox, the head coach there, is an easy guy to root for. And Cal, there were so many moments this season where your heart broke for them because they were this close, so maybe 25 is the year.
My heart didn't break when Miami won.
No, I know. That was like your moment of the year, wasn't it? Your favorite comeback of the year.
Great game.
All right, what about their buddies over there on the farm?
Buddies.
Stanford.
They
Look,
love when you ask that if they were buddies.
yeah, they're not exactly good friends. There's no love lost between these two. They did pick up a couple of big ACC wins over Louisville and Syracuse last year. How do they build in year 3 under Troy Taylor?
Well, this is a hard schedule, I ain't gonna lie. We talked about it earlier on. Now, this one I would say, this is a tough one because you look at BYU, they were a team that went deep in the Big 12, almost played for their conference title. Boston College will be good. San Jose State beat them last year. You got SMU on the road, in Miami. That's a long trip all the way to Coral Gables, then also at Carolina. So this is a tough one, not necessarily one that they can't compete because I do think they'll be better this year. This will be the 3rd year under Coach Taylor, but again,
quarterback.
This is going to be daunting. Who's your
Elijah
quarterback?
Brown. Elijah Brown.
You think so? You think he's ready?
I know so.
I mean,
he gotta be ready.
He looked the part.
They've called him the most, important recruit since Luck. So I mean, that's a big deal. That's big.
Who is now the general manager, Andrew Luck.
Right, which you're excited about that.
Very excited.
That'll be
absolutely. Well, I think he's going to help inject and give a lot of feedback. I mean, when former players come back, especially a guy who Andrew Luck, the career he had at Stanford and also in the NFL, he's going to be well respected. But hopefully he can give them just maybe some thoughts and some ideas that should help them win.
And it sounds like he has the keys to the car. I mean,
he's not the head coach, but as far as maybe judging talent from high school ranks or transfer portal ranks, that should be helpful.
He's got a suggestion.
They're gonna listen.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a big deal. It's a big
And
deal.
they got some weapons as well. Emmett Mosley stepped up huge, the freshman receiver. So they got 2 young guys on offense to build off of, a couple young running backs as well. But defensively, you want to see them, how they're going to be. But I love what Coach Taylor is doing. It's a great opportunity for them. Like I said last year, stand for this building. Remember that.
I said that at a
One last
crazy
thing
time
on this
this year.
schedule.
Didn't matter. I believe
It's a long season.
Yeah.
When you start August 23rd,
Yeah.
and you start your game prep for
Start
that
camp earlier, all these things.
mid August, on the 15th or something, you're getting ready for the game. That's a long season, man.
It's tough.
You see the lower third on your screen. That's something to note as well. Stanford,
Oh,
Kenny,
my God.
our researcher, did some crunching.
They're going around the earth.
26,000 miles. Look, they start in Hawaii. They go all the way to Miami as well. So they will travel when it's all said and done more than the circumference of Earth. There's your science lesson
Is
for the day.
Earth
Come
flat
for the
or is
sports,
it round?
stay for the science. We'll have that conversation
You
in
mean
the
like
break.
one trip around the world?
Yeah, pretty much. So Stanford's going to be on the plane quite a bit
Take
this
off.
season.
good experience.
Yeah,
To start running.
there you go. That's when you can team bonding. That's where it is.
For sure.
Talk
Can they
to one
get
of their
frequent
basketball
flyers?
players.
That's the question.
Nope.
right.
They
Yes.
should, though.
They really should.
That's something that we need to fix in
And
2025.
they'll
If that's
do.
not the case. The commissioner of the Atlantic Coast Conference, Jim Phillips, obviously a big part of all of this. This is what he had to say about the ACC schedule release. There's already great anticipation for the 2025 ACC football season. And today's schedule announcement highlights both exciting conference games combined with our teams once again playing the toughest collection of non-conference opponents. We look forward to collaborating with our television partners to showcase every ACC football game throughout the season. It is such a collaborative effort between the league, between ESPN, and these schools to try to get everything done. They put in a ton of requests. The schools this year, just a number for you,
Come on.
49 requests.
Come on.
The ACC accommodated 42. That's an 86%
Who
success
did
rate.
that? Who made it happen?
Michael Strickland
Mike.
there.
And
The
Mike
lead
gets
offense
dropped
and-
on this one.
and
Mike's the
he's
man.
hired
How about
through.
Mike?
All right, coming up, we're going to talk Notre Dame.
All right, up next is going to be our Notre Dame's ACC deployments. That is coming up next. Will be coming our way after the break, after these messages. Don't go anywhere.